Hello everyone, and thank you for joining MetaverseXpress Full Stop, where we hit the brakes for a full stop to discuss hot topics in the metaverse. Joining me today is one of my favorite Web3 human, Gala's very own Jason Brink, aka BitBenderBrink. This guy is here. Look at the smile on my face. Seriously.
I'm happy to see you. I've always been happy to see you. You're one of the you're the only person that I've ever met besides Bucks who can actually pull off pink the way that you do. It's fantastic.
We love our
and
pink.
You're just very, very fun and vivacious. So I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Jason. And I have to tell you, the community has even asked for Jason. And you ask, I deliver. That's what I say. Here he is in all his glory. He is here. So thank you for joining me tonight.
I'm happy to be here. Absolutely delighted.
Well, and for those of you who were not there or don't remember or didn't watch it, which you missed out, Jason and I were at Galaverse in Malta. Dude, it's been about 5 months, has it? It's 5 months, right?
You know, the weird thing is it's been 5 months, but it feels like approximately 78 years.
Yes. Why is that?
I think it's a combination of I'm on 20-hour days like all the time. That's just how much stuff we've got going on. And then B, like they say that a month is like a year in crypto.
Yes.
But it's really not. Like it depends.
Yes.
It depends on whether you're talking about bear market or bull market months, because bull market months feel like they go really fast, right?
It's fun when it goes fast when you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly, right? But then bear market months, they just feel so long sometimes. And I think that we've had 5 of those since we last met in Malta. So it's rough out there.
No, it really has. But I mean, at least a lot of building has been going on,
Yes.
since Galaverse. There's a lot we need to cover. That was just an
There is.
incredible event. So much information and alpha was dropped. We didn't get to host together, but we're going to make that happen next time.
We're gonna make it happen. It's gonna happen. We can do this.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the match right here on stage. We're going to show the community that is a fact. But so much knowledge and alpha was dropped during that 3-day event. And you know what, Jason? I thought it's time to check in, buddy.
Let's do it.
It's time to check in. You have been, like you said, around the world traveling.
Oh my
I
God.
want to hear what you've been doing, dude.
So tired of traveling, people. My God.
You
Okay.
have. Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to since Galaverse before we
So
get into Gala.
so before we talk about traveling, September was like 50,000 miles almost. Okay, which is just
50,000. What is your family saying about this? Oh my gosh.
come home or you're in trouble.
Yeah,
Is a
yeah.
good way to put it.
I bet.
No, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was basically Vancouver to Tokyo, Tokyo to Taipei, Taipei to Tokyo, Tokyo to Bangkok, Bangkok to Vancouver, Vancouver to London, London to Paris, Paris to Barcelona, Barcelona to Seoul,
Jason.
Seoul to Busan, Busan to Seoul, Seoul to Bangkok, Bangkok to
Holy
Narita,
shit.
Tokyo, Tokyo to Vancouver.
Dude, it's
Um,
unbelievable.
and that
Unbelievable.
was in like a month. It was a nightmare. It was like, but it was so much fun though to get out there and to meet the community, to
Of
connect.
course.
Everywhere I went, every city that I went to, I would have a community event of some sort. Like we would all get together, we'd go out to eat, we'd just hang out, things like that. Absolutely loved it. That's my favorite part of traveling. So in that sense, super fun. In the not being at home sense, not quite as fun.
It's the sacrifices you make to build, you know, Gala. That's really what you're doing. But there's just so much you guys are
That's what we're
doing.
building. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you guys are so involved with the community as well. And to get out there and to meet the people that are part of this huge community, it's just something you guys really are good at. And somebody's got to do it. And what better person than
Thank
the
you.
BitBender right here?
I have fun with it, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's been an incredibly busy 5 months. Coming up on the Spider Tanks launch here.
We're going
Just
to get
so
into
much
that.
work has been going on. Let's dig into it. Let's talk about it
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's in this in the month of September traveling around, right? I got back early October, but what was interesting is even though this was like the pit of bear marketdom, right? Every
Yeah.
single one of these events I went to, absolutely packed with people who are building.
Isn't that
And so it doesn't
incredible?
actually feel like a bear market. It's just the numbers, the product is still there, is still being built, and I can't wait to see this all turn around because I think that when this all turns around, okay, and hashtag not financial advice, hashtag
They know
not talking
this.
about anything that I have anything to do with.
Yes.
I think that market wide, the bull market that is going to come and after this is going to absolutely melt faces, because we're at a point now where we're almost ready to push real adoption. Like
Absolutely.
we're going to see millions and millions of people come into blockchain here soon.
Absolutely. And what better time to do that now while we have somewhat of a time to introduce
Hmm.
people to what is being built? And I know we were having this conversation earlier, and I told you this. That's what I try to do in this space. What I want to do is to introduce Gala tonight to our non crypto natives, to people who are not familiar at
Beautiful.
all about what Gala, the amazing things that Gala
Beautiful.
is doing. So,
Would love to talk to them.
yes, yes, because we want them to see where the value is. We want them to become familiarized with this concept of Web3 entertainment. And I have to say, and I want my community to know that Gala is spearheading Web3 entertainment in the industry. So here is the guy. You're going to hear it from the horse's mouth about what is being built and why it's so valuable. And Jason, we have covered Gala music actually a lot on this show,
Hmm.
but we haven't officially introduced Gala as a Web3 entertainment company. My viewers, the non crypto natives, have, I hope, by now a good understanding of the play to earn model, the watch to earn model, the listen to earn model. But what Gala is doing, what's unique about Gala is that Gala is bringing all of these economies into one ecosystem, right? And creating this
Correct.
concept of the invisible blockchain that I often talked about. Why don't you talk to us about, why don't you introduce Gala as an entertainment company first? And I also want you to let people know what your position is and what you do for Gala. So let's start with that.
My name is Jason Brink. I'm the president of blockchain at Gala. My official title is Barbarian Path of the Berserker, but that doesn't work very well for external communications because we're all like absolute uber nerds, and so most of us have D&D inspired titles.
Tell them why that's your
CEO,
title.
Eric, is a divination. Well, it's my title because I have a tendency, whenever there's an issue, no matter what that problem is, I have a tendency to do what is referred to as face tanking. And what I will do is, and this is actually why I ended up with this job, right? Because I've known Eric for a few years now, and I reached out to him one day because I had bought a Gala node at an event. I couldn't. It was even before I was able to even run the thing, or maybe I could have. I'm not sure. Whatever. It was before I was part of the company. I had talked to Eric a lot about the ideation behind it, but I hadn't actually gotten like officially involved yet. And he kept, I kept getting these marketing emails that came from someone at Gala. It wasn't even called Gala then. And I sent it to Eric, and with a list of like 20 things that needed to be in these emails, aligned socials, like, here, fix all of these problems with your marketing, right? Send this to your marketing person. And he's like, well, we don't really have one right now. So you want a job? So I joined as employee number 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And basically what I do is I find a problem and I just crash into it with my face until it breaks. And then I tape it together as best I can in a way that works. And then I go on to the next one. And that's
Beautiful.
what I've done since the first day here. And I love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tell the audience also who Eric is so they're familiar. And then I want you to hop in and just tell the Gala vision.
Eric Schiermeier is our CEO and founder. He was also, prior to this, he was the CTO of the company that was the parent company of MySpace. So CTO of MySpace. And he was the co-founder of Zynga, which I believe everybody knows about, right? It's one of the big gaming giants out there. And, when he founded Gala, the idea is how can we take some of what has been going on in the gaming space, in the free-to-play gaming, where you spend, millions of dollars on user acquisition and you just kind of like pour that into Facebook and Google's pockets, and find a way to actually do some social good with that. And this was kind of the founding thought behind Gala. But as we grew, we realized that there's a lot of different ways that we can do this. Since the beginning, we have accomplished everything by basically challenging the status quo. Whatever that status quo happens to be, we will go and tear it down. I mean, nothing is safe from us in that regard. And so after looking at gaming and realizing, there's a lot to fix in gaming. There's a lot to fix in music and film as well. And so, we basically started to create things that would fundamentally solve some of these problems in these industries, and, make them actually work for everybody involved. And that's where we started. And we look at entertainment across all of Web3 as being combined, right? There is no such thing as a game without music, really. And all of these things come together to create a filmic theme and feel around stuff. So storytelling, really, they all need to be together. It's storytelling, exactly.
Yeah. Storytelling is the same in film and as it is in music and it is in gaming. So why don't we start with gaming? Let's kind of introduce the Gala Games to our audience. You guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're bringing over, 15 games to your ecosystem, to the Gala ecosystem?
28.
Oh, I am way off.
28, yeah.
Over 28 games into the Gala ecosystem. Correct. There's so many economies. There's in-game assets. What really stands out about Gala Games is the gameplay. That's what stands out the most, because there are fun fun games to play. So why don't you
That's the
start with
whole point. That's why games exist. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Because I know you will explain this. There's a very fine line between creating economies and still creating a game that's fun to play long term, right? So talk to
Yeah.
us about these games. I know you have one on deck ready to be released. What should people know
Mhm.
about Gala Games?
Well, the first thing that people need to know, and this is especially relevant if you're approaching this from the perspective of you're not a person who's familiar with blockchain, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and who maybe you're listening to Mona here for the first time, and you're like, "What is this blockchain thing about? I've heard about it, but I don't really know a whole lot about it." And then you look at most blockchain games,
Mm-hmm.
Web3 games as they're sometimes called, and you're like, ugh, these look awful. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we thought so too. And that's why we started what we did. For us, we see gaming as being a very, very deeply involved art form.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not a fun game, it's not a game. In
Yeah.
the blockchain space, so many of the games that exist out there are really, really, to be honest, they're crappy financial simulators with some stickers on top that
True.
you're supposed to turn a crank and get money.
Yeah.
And that's not a game. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
game. And it's not something that we want to do. We want there to be a real game that people jump in and play and are able to have fun, and they can get really involved in and they can spend hours on, because that's what makes a game. And whether or not it pays something, we're perfectly happy for it to pay something, but the
Mm-hmm.
main point of a game is fun, right? And so this is what
Absolutely.
differentiates us from everybody else in the space is, for us, we'll spend tons and tons and tons of time making a super, super, super fun, engaging game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our critical main focus there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's what stands out. But do introduce some of your maybe top fives that you're working on right now, where they are in
Sure,
development. You have Spider Tank coming right out at the
sure.
end of this month. Give it to them, Jason.
It's coming out here pretty soon. Okay,
Yes, it
so
is.
the first game that, and I'm going to mention this just because it is in order of launch, if you will. The first game on Gala is a game called Townstar. It is a
Mm-hmm.
farm simulating game. It is being headed up by Mark Skaggs. Mark Skaggs, if you look him up, you will discover that he has multiple massive gaming awards. He's the guy who created Farmville. He was the guy
Mm-hmm.
who created Red Alert 2. He was the guy who created a whole bunch of different stuff. Absolute legend in the industry. He's the
Mm-hmm.
one that is running Townstar. It is not my style of game. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not much into the farm simulating type thing or town simulating, but it's absolutely amazing. Also being headed up by an absolute legend is VOXVERSE, which you may have heard about. It's
Mm-hmm.
been in the news a lot lately. It is
Will
being headed up
Wright,
by Will Wright.
another
Exactly.
genius.
Will Wright is an absolute genius. He's the
Mm-hmm.
guy who is behind The Sims originally,
Mm-hmm.
but now he is working on Vox, which
We're
is
gonna get into
a
that too.
property that
Yep.
was created at Gala. We'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could also talk about Mirandus.
Mm-hmm.
Mirandus is an absolutely epic MMORPG that's being produced in house. It's one of our first party titles. Super cool, incredibly gorgeous art. The new stuff that they're releasing,
Mm-hmm.
which always surprises me, is amazing.
Yeah.
There's also Last Expedition. Last Expedition is being produced by some of the same team that have made other titles like Halo and a whole
Mm.
bunch of epic titles in the space.
Yeah.
That's another first party title, but it's gorgeous. It's an absolutely gorgeous game. And I do have to say, if you were to look up Last Expedition, what you see is not what the actual game is going to look like on release. We're playing
Mm.
the internal new version,
Mm-hmm.
which is very, very, very much more beautiful than the one that's already out there. And
Right.
then Spider Tanks, which is a fantastic game to mention here. It's
Mm-hmm. My
being produced by a
favorites.
company called yeah, called Game Media, based out of the Netherlands. It is a light MOBA brawler, and it is super, super, super incredibly fun to play. And I highly recommend that everybody check it out. Spider Tanks is going to be a little bit delayed. Okay,
Ah,
our
yeah.
original plan was for it to launch on October 31st.
Halloween.
That's not
Uh-huh.
going to happen. It's going to be launched. It's going to be launched towards the end of November. I believe the date is going to be the 28th. I don't want to. I don't want to like nail
That
that
it
one down.
exactly right, right.
But well, no, I mean it'll be nailed down. It's just that it has it like that meeting is the meeting that happens after this call to nail
Yeah.
that date down. Um, but it's being launched in conjunction with some absolutely massive marketing pushes around the world, and we decided to hold off on this launch so that we
Mhm.
could get all of those things to go simultaneously. Uh,
Amazing,
so
amazing.
so yeah, it's people are going to be a little bit peeved because they want it to launch right now, but
Right.
it's going to work out so much better if we do it this way.
Right. And these things take time too. And that's,
Yeah.
I produce documentaries myself, and people don't understand a lot of times what
No.
pre-production really takes. It's a lot of work. I
Yes.
mean, average
Yes.
documentary takes 5 years, 3 to 5 years to make. So does a game, right?
So wait, hold on. You mean you don't just take a an iPhone out there, film a bunch of stuff, and then just yeet it up onto YouTube? That's not how documentaries
I
happen.
take my stick and I go bibbity bobbity boo.
Yeah, there you go. That's all you need. That's all you need. Just a little dash of
No.
magic dust, fairy dust, and
And
off
I
you go. No.
And I want people to know that it's not just games, 28 games, guys. And it's not just 28 games. There's movie. We're going to get into voxel in just a second. There's
Yeah.
movies, there's film, there's music, and we're still like on the topic of gaming. So I hope people watch this and they get the Spider Tang news, understand these things are a process. It's a process, my friends. One thing I wanted to ask you now, with all the games that you mentioned, are there in game economies in all of them of
There's
some sort?
in-game assets of some sort. Not all of them have their own token.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's so many. I mean, I didn't even mention all of them. I mean, there's Legends Reborn. There's Superior. There's just so freaking many that are just absolutely amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah, they all have some that you when you talk about the concept of invisible blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is something that I personally am a really big believer in. What I
Mm-hmm.
hate is I hate how people think, how blockchain, this is the thing that blockchain people tend to do, where blockchain people think that blockchain itself is a selling point.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Now, blockchain is a selling point if you're a weird crypto person who likes blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
But for the average person,
They
the
don't want to
concept
know.
of
Yeah.
blockchain just means confusing and oftentimes scary.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's the bitcoins that you use to buy the drugs, and that's what you use in your game, right? This is the way that
Absolutely.
normies, if you
Yeah.
will, tend to view blockchain. And so
Yeah.
for us, one of the things that we focus on a lot is how do we make this how do we take the concept of a blockchain game and make it so it's not a scary, weird blockchain thing that only is used by weirdos? Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
this is a huge challenge, right?
Of course. Yeah.
And so we're working very, very hard on reducing these barriers of entry, making it
Yeah.
easy for people to jump in and just play, because we believe that games in the future, you have two types of games. One type of game is, just your normal, what we would call a Web 2 game now. Okay. The other type of game is a game in which you have what we call true ownership. And
Yep.
that's it. The
Yep.
mechanism for that true ownership may be blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
but people don't need to know that. It's not
Exactly.
necessary.
Exactly. It's just like when you run your credit card, you don't know what's happening with the merchant, correct? You're just running your credit card.
No, nor do
So
you want to. You don't
nor do
want to
I
know.
care. Yeah, I don't hassle
Yeah,
me with that. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to play a game. And I want to own
exactly.
my assets and I want to be able to sell them. And I want to and that's
Yep.
we'll get into that too. It's just there's so much to talk about and we have a few more genres and I want to be mindful of your time too, but let's hop to what there's something that for the first time ever on this channel I'm introducing. It's a term we call vox or a voxel, and I know
Vox.
vox, right?
Well,
So it
let's dig into this just a tiny bit.
yes,
A
do it.
voxel, a
Yeah.
voxel is just a three-dimensional pixel. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so a pixel, if you think of a pixel on your screen, you have that grid, right? Where if you like get really close to it, you see the little squares, unless you're using a really nice display. But when I grew up, you had computers that you could
Oh,
actually
I'm
see
right
the
there with
squares
you.
in the screen on, right?
Yes.
The whole screen door effect.
Yeah.
Those are pixels. Now, if you take those and you make them three-dimensional, you get a voxel. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's just
Yep.
what that's called. Now, what we have is we have something called Vox, okay,
Mm-hmm.
which are made of voxels, okay,
Yep.
and they're absolutely adorable. We did our first series based on Townstar, one of our games. We did
Mm-hmm.
our second series based on Mirandus, another one of our games. We did the third series based on The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
We have a partnership with AMC on that one, and we're in the middle of our fourth series based on DreamWorks Trolls. Okay,
That
each
was
of
the
these
big
drops
news.
has
We had a
8,888.
big we had
Oh, I'm
a big
sorry,
news. We
I did the
buried
big
the
news part.
news.
I'm
We
sorry, I'm sorry, burying
buried
the
the
lead.
news.
Ah, God, I do that all the
Yes.
time.
Yes. Go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead,
Tell
do
us.
the news, do the news part. Oh, I spoiled it. I'm
It's
sorry. I'm
okay. Well,
sad
I
now.
mean, there is a huge, but I wanted you to explain the Vox first because I want people to understand what a Vox
Yeah,
is. And then we
yeah,
have a
sure.
huge collaboration that Gala just did. You tell them about the collaboration and then I'll go to the next part. But go ahead
Sure.
and tell them about the collaboration.
So it's essentially a three-way collaboration here,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Which is really really important. The major collaboration is between us and DreamWorks for Vox
Mm.
for the drop of 8,888 of these generative characters, and they're absolutely adorable. If you go to collectvox.com, you can check them out. Um,
Yeah.
you're gonna love them. You're absolutely
Yes.
gonna love them.
Yeah, this is a
But the
huge
third part of
collaboration.
this,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, it's huge. Yeah. The third part is that we're also collaborating with Coinbase. Okay.
Mm.
This is important because, again, in the interest of reducing those barriers of entry, right? If you're doing something on the blockchain, you're paying for something on the blockchain, it has to be on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
And there is nobody out there who is better in terms of low friction onboarding than
Mm-hmm.
Coinbase. We wanted to make it possible for anyone to jump in and get a
Mm-hmm.
Vox, connecting their Coinbase wallet, and the collect or the Vox drop for trolls is actually happening on Coinbase's NFT store. So
Beautiful. Yeah.
nft.coinbase.com, you can go in and you can get yourself one of these things, and they're super 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 cool.
They are super cute. And I actually was going to ask you if there's any tools that you guys are building to help onboarding. And this is, I mean, it can't get any more simple than working with Coinbase for the user to
Yep.
connect their wallet. It's a little process. It's just like opening a bank account in a way. Very simple.
Yep.
Coinbase makes it so easy. You connect your wallet and you can purchase these boxes that are I want you to also talk about the utility of these Voxes because there's a lot of perks. What
Sure.
does it mean to own a Vox?
The Vox characters are just these adorable little things, and your Vox, you actually own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can use it pretty much however you would like. I think that there's some limitations in the actual contract, but it's your thing. You can do
Mm-hmm.
basically what you want with it. And soon you'll be able to use that in VOXVERSE as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it'll be a little character that you can walk around. You can actually use it right now in a game called Vox Odyssey, which is available in our Discord server, which you can join at galagames.chat.
Mm-hmm.
And our Discord server is a little bit unique because we don't really talk about crypto stuff in there. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
do, but we also, a lot of Discord servers or Telegram groups that you go to are just like completely filled to the gills with, speculation and, pumps and
Yes.
dumps and price and all of that. We don't talk about any of that stuff in our Discord. So it is a safe place. Come hang out,
Learn.
ask questions,
Yeah.
learn.
A lot of learning happens there.
Many people happy to teach.
But you can take these boxes, they're interoperable, right? You can take them from
Mm-hmm.
game to game.
Yeah, there's so each one of the mandates that we have is that there needs to be a Vox integration into all of our games in some way, shape, or
Mm,
form or another. So you have things like being able to place them in town stars, so they'll wander around your town, or in
nice.
Last Expedition. In Last Expedition, your Vox can be a charm on your
Hmm.
gun,
Oh,
which is super cute.
nice.
Yeah,
That's
that's.
very
I don't think
neat.
anyone knows that yet, but yeah,
That's a little
there's little
alpha
things that
right
you can do.
there. Okay. I
Yeah,
love that. I love that.
it's fun.
Jason, what does this collaboration mean for you guys and for the user?
Well, what it means for us is that, we are constantly working to break down barriers between the sort of, it's a strange phrase, but from like the ivory tower crypto crowd.
Hmm.
Okay, they tend to be pretty damn insufferable a lot
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
But they're just a very difficult to work with group of people if you're not one of them. Like
Right.
if you're not a blockchain person, then blockchain people can seem very, very intimidating, very difficult to work with, and all of that. So we want to
Hmm.
drop the barrier between those people and just normal everyday people out there. And one of the ways that we do that is by basically broadening our reach. What are the pieces of property that we can partner with and that we can work with that will maximize that reach across different groups of people? So this is why you have people who really love The Walking Dead are
Hmm.
probably, generally speaking, people who are in a different demographic than the ones who really love trolls.
Hmm.
You know,
Right. Right.
and so by broadening this and working with companies like AMC and DreamWorks, we're making it possible to bring in more and more and more people into the ecosystem.
Do you see that in order for us to build this thing out, do you foresee a lot of Web2 entertainment collaborations with Web3
Mm-hmm.
games or film? I mean, it's almost inevitable, right? And it's a
Yeah.
mutual, very mutual relationship for both. Beneficial,
I
I
mean, the
should
way that
say.
I look at it is like this. I mean, blockchain is just the new internet.
Mm-hmm.
And way back in the early days, like I started my first business when I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did in that business was design websites. Okay. And I would work with business owners who at this point in time, this would have been like the mid to late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very few small businesses had websites. Very,
Mm-hmm.
very few. And so it's helping get over that transition from a world in which you have no internet to the world in which you do. And I helped like ranchers set up email accounts for the first time, right? And understand how, like,
Right.
well, so I do this and it just, they'll
Yeah.
send me the message when I need to go get my feed. And you
Uh-huh.
have
Yeah.
conversations like that, and it's all about bridging that gap, right?
Right.
Blockchain is just the new internet, and it's all about bringing people from the old world that's pre-blockchain to the new
Mm-hmm.
world where they're part of the community,
Yeah.
and helping guide that transition is fantastically fun.
That's beautiful. It's something to look forward to without a doubt. I will put the information for minting in the video note section.
The mint for Vox is live right now. The
Oh, okay.
reveal, I think, is coming later this week, although I don't know the day, so I apologize. And when the reveal happens, basically what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to take your Vox box, which is what you get right now, and send that into a contract, and it will spit back out the actual Vox that you can go look at. And
Oh,
I'm super
awesome.
excited.
That
I've got
is
a couple of them. I can't wait to reveal.
Jason is taking all the rares. You cannot take all the rares, Jason.
I can't take all the rares, and you know what the hilarious thing is I very often get like the worst
The
ones. It's
worst one.
terrible. I have like they're terrible. I mean
Oh,
not
poor
to,
Jason.
they're all awesome, but
They're so
when
cute.
I
You
did
can't get a
the
wrong. Yeah, you can't get a bad one. They're
no,
so
you
cute.
can't. They're really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
in Slack, I actually use a Vox as my picture because it's actually it's from The Walking Dead. It's Shane,
Oh,
and
yes.
he's wearing glasses and he has a beard and he looks kind of like me. If you were to convert me into pixels,
I have to go see that.
it's good times. It's good
Well,
times.
I want people to be able to have the opportunity to mint and have one of these in their wallet as well. But I also want to introduce them to VOXVERSE. We did mention this is a collaboration with Will Wright,
Hmm.
another gaming genius. He's designed this immersive experience. I've been there. It's pretty
Oh, it's
cool.
amazing.
It's actually built by the players, right? It's this like multifaceted world that people build. Am I right?
Yeah, it's a very multifaceted world. There are parts of it that are built by the players. They have this concept called shape grammars that
Mhm.
allow players to construct things for use in the world, and they build them out of items that they collect currently in Vox Odyssey.
Mm.
But yeah, in high level, built by the players.
And any game that comes into VoxVerse, it needs to be interoperable, right? So that you can take those characters to
There
through
will be a
portals.
degree, yeah, you'll be able to take those characters into any of our games.
That is very, very cool.
The way that you should think of Voxverse, okay, if you've ever seen the movie Wreck-It Ralph, okay, where they have like the game cabinet where everybody hangs out, and then they go run into the game, okay,
Yes,
through like
yes, yes,
the modem. That's kind of what this is. That's a
yes.
good way to think of it.
It's a portal.
Yeah, it's a portal.
It's a
Exactly.
portal. Well, I am so excited. I know, and I'm going to put some videos as you were talking. We'll put some videos so people can see what this looks like because it really is beautiful. The visuals, the
It's
colors.
fun.
It's so fun. It's so beautiful. And then there's a whole music side to all of this too. We have Gala
Yep.
music. I've had Lane Alex and October London on the show a few times. We've talked
Okay.
about listen to earn opportunities and
Hmm.
economies and the benefits for fans and artists. I know October just had his biggest drop on his birthday a few days
Hmm.
ago. How did that go, by the way? I didn't catch up with what happened
It
at
went
the
fairly
end there.
well. It went fairly well. I
Good.
think there's a little bit of bear market blues that impacted things a little bit.
Sure.
But that's pretty normal given the current the current market conditions.
But it's a good opportunity to, I want people to hear it from you.
Hmm.
This listen to earn model is really changing the music
Hmm.
industry for the fans and for the
Yeah.
artists. What do you see
Right.
happening here that is so beneficial for both?
One of the things that I think is really important when we look at concepts like listen to earn and potentially watch to earn and things like that is in the industry right now, okay, in the music industry, there's a fundamental misalignment
Mm-hmm.
of well, just misalignment in general in terms of what you as a user should do, what they as a musician should do, what a publisher or record label should do,
Mm-hmm.
and how they can best sort of how they can best serve the market. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what all of this is designed to do is to align all of their incentives across the board, so that a user wants to see, they want to get involved with a musician because the musician's success and the success of the launch on the record label, and all of these things are very, very intimately tied together. Okay,
Mhm.
because you want to be one of the ones that owns a limited edition track. You want to be
Mhm.
able to access unique experiences that you would not otherwise be able to access. These are some of the things that you really want to see happen as either a artist, okay, because you want to have that direct contact with your super fans, right? As a
Mhm.
publisher, because you want people who are very interested in the people who are working on your label, or
Mhm.
as a fan, you want to get involved with the people that you love to see. And it
Mhm.
works better if all of this supports each of these support one another, and
Mhm.
that's what it's designed to do.
Absolutely. I mean, we often talk about, I've had a couple of ticketing founders on the show, and we've talked a lot about ticketing
Mm,
and how that model is changing, where ticket is not going to be a ticket anymore. It's your opportunity. It's a door that's
right,
opening to these experiences that essentially you'll have with your favorite artist, right? Now you can engage and
right,
be a
exactly.
part of every moment of that concert that you maybe missed or you were
Yep.
there. Talk to us about some of the artists that you're working with right now on the platform.
Well, I think it all really started. I think one of the first major artists that we brought to the platform was Snoop. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows Snoop, right? We've done a lot of really cool stuff with him. When you talk about experiences, fan experiences, having a barbecue party at Snoop's
That was
compound,
fun. That was fun. Yeah.
super fun, right? Seeing the fans have fun, totally life changing experience, right? But we
Yeah.
also, on the other side, we work with a lot of brand new emerging artists
Yeah.
that have come from, a wide range of different genres. Super, super fun to watch these new artists sort of come into themselves in this new medium, and very liberating too, because
Mm-hmm.
they're able to have greater freedom with us than they are with other traditional publishers.
Absolutely. I mean, you're giving power back to the artists and the fans. And it
That's the
sounds
idea.
like the money is being distributed once for all the right way, right?
That's the idea. That's the idea.
What Web3 is doing for music is what really has needed to happen for decades. And it's good to see that you guys
Yeah.
are giving power back to the people and putting power back in the hands of the artists and bringing that relationship so much closer and more of a direct relationship that both can benefit from. So that's
Hmm.
really cool to see you guys doing
Right.
that. We try to bring some of the artists on and have them kind of share their experience and their perspective
Hmm.
too, because we want to inspire other artists to start getting their mind used to this next iteration of music
Right.
as well. That's coming. That really is coming. I kind of want to go into film, and that's our last genre that I want to touch on. That is a
Sure.
fascinating genre that you guys are building that next iteration as well, especially, as a commercial and documentary producer myself, I find film NFT ownership in pre-production a tremendous opportunity for filmmakers and
Hmm.
for fans. Talk to us about the opportunity that Gala Film is bringing to the table with Web3 films.
Sure. I don't want to go too deep into film because this is very much a Bucks thing.
Yeah.
And you know, about a month ago, somebody was, like, Jason, you should know this given your position in the business. You should be able to talk about this thing, whatever it is. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was a game, but I went back and I looked at our Slack conversation logs, and it was 346,000 unique messages over a 30-day period.
Oh my God.
Maybe no, might have been 246. It was a lot.
Oh my God.
Whether it was a quarter million or 346, it doesn't matter.
Oh my
It was a
God.
lot of messages. And so I'm not directly involved in the film business side of things. I do get involved in the blockchain side of things and whatnot, but I am not directly involved in the film business side of stuff. So I don't want to say too much, but
That's fine. Yeah, that's
that
fine.
said, I mean, our whole thing here is, right now, especially in the film and music industries, there's a tremendous misalignment of incentives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, when was the last time that you woke up and thought to yourself, you know what I'd really like? I'd like another Marvel movie.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
when was the last time that you've gone to the movie theater and you watched a movie and you thought to yourself, you know what, that hit the spot. That's exactly what I wanted to see.
Right,
Now,
right.
sometimes you'll go there and things will be super, super fun. It'll be super cool. It's well made. It's, all of these great things. It kind of scratches all those itches, if you will. But, it's not something that you as a viewer had any sort of shape, any sort of incentive in shaping
Input,
at all.
incentive. Exactly, right.
Exactly. So what we want to do is we want to create something that allows people to feed into some of these ideas even before it gets to the point where it gets released. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you've seen how we've done this
Mm-hmm.
with gaming,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like getting people involved from the very, very beginning. From the earliest alphas, we have our community in there playing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the community will say, hey, this is fantastic. It would be cooler if you could change this thing.
Yes,
And we take
yes.
that into account sometimes and we look at it and we say, yeah, that's great. You're right. Now, how cool would it be if you could have some form of involvement in the filmic process as well?
In the pre-production
You
stage,
know,
absolutely, yes.
sure. And for me, that's a super powerful thought, because you could get to the point where you, as a viewer, are able to feed in at some level and
Mm-hmm.
be heard. That's very powerful.
Absolutely. And we often talk about DAOs and the community and owning some of these nodes and some of these NFTs in the pre-production
Yep.
process does allow the community to have a say in the direction of what is
Right.
being built and what is being produced, which is really, really cool and a fascinating concept. I am going to have Bucks on the show to talk about some of the films, some of the projects, because you guys got some
Good.
cool stuff coming.
We do. We have a lot. We have a lot of really, really impressive stuff coming.
Yeah, I'm excited to introduce that to the audience as well. But as we start to close, I do want to bring something up. A lot of our non-crypto natives, when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
these in-game economies, NFTs or in-game assets, they have very little confidence when it comes to sometimes decentralization, security, scalability of the
Sure.
blockchain. Talk to us a little bit again about overall when it comes to Gala Games or Gala as an entertainment company, what tools are you and the team are building to help people onboard safely, seamlessly, and maybe even educate them in the process as well, if you will.
So the first thing that I would say is that, unfortunately, some of those concerns that you mentioned are not issues for
Right.
non-crypto natives because they don't even know that they're a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of the first things that I end up having to describe to most brand new people in the blockchain space is, the differences between various chains. Whether you have
Mm-hmm.
something on ETH or you have it on Solana or you have it on Polygon or any of these things, that's always a conversation, right? And it gets very confusing for people who are just coming in
Mm-hmm.
new. So what we want to do is we want to make Gala the home of your in-game assets,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that is smooth, low friction, and allows you to get involved right away. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the ways that we do this is with our own layer one blockchain, codenamed Geary. It's going to be launched at the same time as Spider Tanks.
Mm.
And it allows for things that you can't do on a few other blockchains, and it's specifically designed for gaming. Gaming is extremely transaction intense,
Yes.
and none of the existing blockchains out there would get anywhere near being able to touch it. And this is why we had to create our own. So,
Beautiful.
when
That's
you ask
another news
what
you
are
just
we
buried the
doing,
lead again.
so many leads buried. I'm
Wow.
sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, I mean,
Yeah.
that we want to make sure that what we're doing is as future proof as possible,
Yeah.
because that's how you build something that can last in the long term.
And that's so big. I want people to understand that to build your own chain, it's smart. It's definitely smart. Why not? But it
It's
also,
it's a whole thing.
it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
It's a
And
whole
it's,
thing.
and it's speaking of it's a whole thing. When we talk about Gala, I mean, what Gala is building, a Web3 entertainment company, it's a whole thing, right? I mean, that is, Jason, that
Yeah,
is a huge commitment. That's a massive commitment, right?
it's massive.
You went
You
from
know,
8 people, by the way. Let's not bury that one. You guys went from
eight
eight people
people
to
March
four.
of 2020, but over 400 people. I think 440 something right now.
That is incredible.
It is worth noting that those people are only the people that are working on uh, our 4 first-party games, film and music, as well as infrastructure stuff. If you include the other 24 games out there, they all have their own independent dev teams that are not paid for by us. Some of those have 100 plus people working on them. So we have thousands of people that are building for the Gala ecosystem right now.
That is just, it's unbelievable. And I've worked with the team, and I have to say this, I've worked with your team one-on-one in person. And the way Gala's
Mm-hmm.
mentality has always been go big or go home. And the people that you guys bring on board are class acts, the best in the industry, in their niche. I have seen it with my own eyes. I've met these people. And so it's not just like you guys are taking this huge commitment and winging it. I mean, you are bringing on board experts
Right.
in each of these genres to build literally the next iteration of entertainment.
Yep, that's the whole point. That's what we're doing. Our mandate is to be a force for good and the leading Web3 entertainment company across all verticals. That's what we're doing.
And I want to ask you one last question. And my last question is
Sure.
why? Why? Why is Gala taking on such a
Why?
huge commitment? Yes, to build the next iteration of
Why is
entertainment.
Gala doing it, or why am I doing it?
Why is Jason doing it?
I'm doing it because I had experiences working in disaster relief that showed me that as a species, we're really terrible at helping those who need it the most.
Mhm.
And the best way to fix that is to design systems that fix it for us to a certain extent. Design new economies, design new ways for people to earn something in a way that is unconventional, and leverages new systems that go outside of the status quo. Okay, this is where the concept of play and earn gaming comes from, right?
Mhm.
How do you make it possible for somebody to play a game and feed their family?
Mm.
That answering questions like that's really powerful. And to a larger extent, that's why Gala does it as well.
Mhm.
It's about making a difference. It's about being a force for good. And would it be possible for us to do less? Sure. But why, when you have the ability to push and do something more and something bigger?
And there's a reason I ask every person that comes on this show. My last question is always the why, because it's in the why that you hear the soul and the heart and the passion of the people who are behind these projects. And you and I both know 3-4 years ago, we didn't have this ability. When we learned crypto, when I learned crypto and I was doing my research to decide, do I want to invest in this project? I read white papers that I didn't understand what I was reading over and over and over just to decide, what are these people building? Do I want to invest in what is being
Right.
built? I never had the opportunity, or we never had the opportunity to speak to the people behind those white papers and hear it from them. And now, for the
Yes.
first time ever,
Yes.
people have, through us and through watching this, have the opportunity to really hear not only what is being built, but who is building it. Because at the end of the day, we're not investing in the game, we're investing in the people who are building the game.
So just a tiny twist on that. We want you to play the game. We
Mm-hmm.
want you to play the game, and if you're, for us, we don't look at things in terms of investment. We look at things in terms of, what are you putting in terms of your time, in terms of your play, in terms of your creativity, in terms of your expertise, in terms of your skill. And there may be a financial component to some of that, but ultimately at the end of the day, we want you to have a blast, and we want there to be something for some people to be able to pull out there as well. But the main thing for us is creating something that is amazing and is fun.
That is beautiful. And how lucky we are to have people like you, to have people like Bucks and the entire, I can name every single individual, it might take a few minutes, but to have the people that are involved in every genre that we just went over, and
Hmm.
put their passion and expertise and experiences and skills to build these projects and under this umbrella. So thank you for what you guys do. And we're
Thank
so
you.
excited to see what is to come for Gala and for
It's
Bitbender
gonna be a fun
himself
ride.
too. Yes. Yes,
It's gonna be a
absolutely.
fun ride. We got a lot to do here.
You do, you do. You have a lot ahead. Is there anything else you want to leave people with? I know, I hope that we can do more of these, because I would love to get a little bit more, go in depth on some of these genres and get people even more familiarized. But is there anything else that you want to leave with us before you go?
I I would love for everybody to join our Discord. Maybe we can get Mona to stick a link below or
Absolutely.
something like that. To join our Discord, jump in, chat, hang out. Don't talk about token prices, but talk about games, and that's a fantastic way for you to get involved and to learn more about us. And if you join Gala Gold, you'll probably run into me and Benefactor and Bucks. We're in there all the freaking time talking to people. So come hang out. We'd love to see you.
And I always say the best thing that I love about Web3 is the accessibility of the founders, because they're out there right front and center
Yep.
doing teaching and educating the community. Jason, I
Yep.
want to thank you for your time and for attention, despite all the technical difficulties that we had tonight.
Been a doozy today, hasn't it?
It was, but we pulled it off. Guys, they can't even tell. See, you guys can't even tell what we just went through.
Well, thank you very much, Mona. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining me. And please know you're welcome to come back anytime. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the latest episode of Metaverse Express Full Stop. I'm your host, Mona. Until next time.
Welcome to the data lane. Please keep your arms and legs inside